My wife smiled when she told me she needed freedom. Not the kind of smile that means reassurance. The kind that tells you something's already gone. And when I finally stopped arguing, that's when she panicked. If you've ever felt dismissed, talked over, or made to feel small in your own marriage, hit like, subscribe, and stay with this story until the end. Because this isn't just about jealousy. It's about respect, power, and what happens when one person finally stops bending. The night my wife told me she needed freedom, she said it calmly. No jilling, no acquiescence, no tears, just a smile. But it didn't reach her eyes. And I remember thinking, this isn't a break. It's worse than that. It's a crack. The kind you don't hear, but you feel. Right in the chest. When the room goes quiet and the truth starts rearranging the furniture in your head. Before I go any further, let me say this. If you've ever been blindsided by someone you trusted, if you've ever been told your discomfort was your problem, you're going to want to hear how this unfolds. Because none of this started with shouting or slammed doors. It started with routines that I'm a project coordinator at a mid-sized construction company. Not glamorous, but stable, decent pay, predictable hours. I like knowing what tomorrow looked like. Lauren, my wife, was the opposite. Freelance graphic designer. Creative. Talented. Allergic to schedules. We've been married 4 years. And if you'd asked me back then, I would have said we were solid. Not perfect, but solid. Coffee together every morning. Quiet dinners during the week. Friends on weekends. Inside jokes that only made sense to us. The kind of marriage you don't post about because it doesn't need validation. And maybe that's why I didn't see the shift when it started. She wasn't asking how I felt. She wasn't negotiating. She was declaring terms. And expecting me to fall in line like I always had. So I nodded. You're right, I said. Her expression shifted. Confused. Suspicious. And just to be clear, I added calmly, that means I have the same right. She agreed, but she didn't understand yet. Not even close. I finished my dinner in silence. Rinsed my plate. Went to bed without another word. That night, she slept facing the wall. Her phone lit up every few minutes. I stared at the ceiling, realizing how long I'd been the only one adjusting. The next few days weren't explosive. They were cold. She stayed in her office longer. Took calls with the door closed. Laughed quietly at messages she didn't share. And I stopped asking. That part confused her more than anything else. She wanted resistance. She wanted reassurance. What she got instead was acceptance. And it unsettled her. By Thursday, something in me had shifted. From hurt to clarity. That evening, scrolling through my phone, I noticed an unread message. From Megan. She was part of our extended friend group. Smart. Confident. And she'd made her interests clear more than once over the years. I'd always declined. Out of loyalty. Out of habit. Her message was simple. New bar open downtown. Want to check it out sometime? 3 days old. I stared at it longer than I should have. Not because I was tempted, but because I realized something uncomfortable. No one had ever thanked me for the boundaries I kept. They were expected. Invisible. And the moment I asked for the same courtesy, I was labeled controlling. So I typed back, Friday works if you're still up for it. Her response came immediately. Absolutely. 7. I locked my phone. My heart wasn't racing. There was no thrill. Just calm. Like setting down a weight I didn't realize I'd been carrying. Friday arrived fast. I didn't announce my plans. Lauren didn't ask. When I came out dressed, she glanced up. Going somewhere. Meeting Megan for a drink. I said evenly. Her eyes narrowed. Megan. Yes. The tension snapped tight. You're doing this on purpose. I'm doing exactly what you said was acceptable, I replied. Friendship, remember? That's different. If your intentions are innocent, I said, grabbing my keys. Then so are mine. I left before she could respond. The bar was warm. Low lights. Exposed brick. Megan smiled when she saw me. You actually came, she said. I thought you'd cancel like usual. Perspective changed. We talked easily. No emotional gymnastics. No walking on eggshells. At one point, she leaned forward. So, are we going to acknowledge why this is new? My wife's reconnecting with an ex, I said. I asked for boundaries. She refused. Megan nodded. So you stop being the only one following rules. Something like that. She raised her glass. About time. Later, she snapped a photo. Mind if I post this? Go ahead. I didn't think about it again until my phone exploded on the drive home. Are you serious right now? Lauren snapped when I answered. We're having drinks. You're on a date. This is exactly what you've been doing. This is to hurt me. No, I said calmly. This is consistency. She hung up. When I got home, she was waiting, arms crossed, eyes blazing. We need to talk. We already did. What you're doing is disrespectful, and what you've been doing for months isn't. She opened her mouth, closed it. That night, I slept alone, and I realized something important. This wasn't about Megan or Ryan. It was about power. And for the first time, Lauren didn't have all of it. By Saturday, the house felt like a ceasefire. Measured movements, sharp silence. Late morning, a message came from her friend Claire. Hey, are you okay? Turns out Lauren had been busy, painting herself as blindsided, me as vindictive. But here's the thing about truth. It doesn't stay buried when it's shared unevenly. By Monday, the questions changed. Man, my friend Mark said, what's really going on? So I told him, no drama, just facts. He paused. Yeah, that's not a good look on her. And that's when Lauren realized she was losing control of the narrative. That night, she paced the living room. If you don't stop this, she said, steady voice, I'll leave. I didn't flinch. If that's your choice, make it. She expected panic. She got resolve. And for the first time, she understood. Standing still could be the strongest move you make. Wednesday morning, she sat at the table before sunrise. I'll stop talking to Ryan. I sipped my coffee. Okay, that's it. What response are you looking for? I want you to stop seeing Megan. There it was. Betrayed. No, I said. You're giving me what I asked for after you laughed at me. She reached for my hand. I pulled back. The fear in her eyes wasn't about love. It was about losing control. She moved out quietly. Boxes. Footsteps. A door closing that felt final. Months later, she showed up with flowers and a letter. Apologies. Promises. Memories arranged like evidence. I handed it back. This isn't about love, I said. It's about not wanting to be alone. You fought for freedom, I told her. You got it. You just don't like what it cost. She didn't follow me when I left. Life didn't become perfect. It became honest. The divorce was quiet. Clean. Done. Sometimes people ask if I regret standing my ground. I don't, because the moment I stopped begging to be heard was the moment I finally listened to myself. Respect isn't loud. It doesn't demand. It doesn't dismiss. And the moment a relationship requires you to shrink to survive, it's already breaking that. If this story hit close to home, hit like, subscribe, and tell me in the comments. Backhand index pointing right, who do you think was right in this husband-wife debate? And if you've ever been in a relationship where silence spoke louder than words, you're not alone. More stories like this are coming.